Alright, hello everyone, it's Happy, and today we're going to be looking at the Concept 1B. We haven't talked about this tank in a while, so I think now is a good time, especially after update 10.3. Now, if we compare this tank directly to an E5, I think it would be a pretty good comparison in general. Now, the Concept 1B does look very weird, and that's the first thing I really want to say about this tank. The turret does look extremely weird, and at times it feels very, very clunky to play, and overall, it just makes the experience a little bit more different compared to other heavy tanks. Now, when it comes to the gun itself, I feel like the gun is a little bit worse than the E5. The DPM is better, however, the alpha is worse on the Concept 1B at 380. I think this decision was not the greatest, but it is what it is. When it comes to the aim time, both the aim time and dispersion are worse than the E5. The E5 has a much better aim time, while the dispersion is very, very close on both tanks. So in my opinion, I feel like the E5 is just going to have a superior gun, and that is obviously good because the E5 is a tech tree tank. Now, what about the other parameters? Well, the Concept 1B is definitely a much better hull down tank, right? The E5 is going to be more sort of good at every role, pretty decent at every role, while the Concept 1B is mainly a hull down tank. It has 10 degrees of gun depression for this purpose, and of course a very strong turret, much better than the E5, of course. However, the E5 in my opinion has a much better hull, at least frontally, right? At least frontally the E5 is going to be protected a little bit better than the Concept 1B. In other parameters, we obviously have mobility, and here again the Concept 1B and E5 are quite similar. The E5 goes 42 kilometers forward with a smaller power to weight ratio, but a better effective horsepower per ton, of course, while the Concept 1B has a little bit faster mobility when it comes to moving forward at 45 and having a better power to weight ratio. So in general, I think it balances out, and the mobility is sort of similar on both tanks. And of course, overall, you have to choose between, what you want. The Concept 1B, again, is a pure hull down tank. You get to a position at the start of the game using your mobility, and then you use your gun depression, your decent DPM, and overall good gun to pretty much smack the enemy up as fast as you can, and then you can move to another hull down position. The E5 can also go hull down, of course, but it's not going to be as efficient as the Concept 1B, because again, the E5 is good at being an all-rounder. It's good at brawling, it's good at, frontally attacking the enemy. You can also go hull down because, of course, you have 8 degrees of gun depression, but not 10. So it's good, but not amazing. And in general, I feel like the E5 has a little bit of a different gameplay overall. So again, you can choose depending on your playstyle, of course. And I understand that the Concept 1B is not for everyone, and the looks especially are not for everyone. Because, for example, I know people who like playing the Super Conqueror simply because of the way it looks, just because it looks good. It doesn't necessarily perform the best, but players just like playing it out of the fact that it looks like a good tank, right? It looks very beautiful. So again, in this scenario, I understand why some players wouldn't even want to touch the Concept 1B just because of how, ugly it is, I guess. It's not as ugly as like the M5 but it is up there in my opinion. Overall, it's a good tank. It's a good tank to have, especially if you like, as I said, hull down tanks. You should definitely try this tank out. So with that, Happy is out, and I'll definitely see you guys next time. Bye-bye.